Hello everyone, Zellerint here, and today I am back with a Sword of Convallaria video. I know it's been a little bit, but I'm finally getting to the point of going over the Alternate Saffiyah kit that we should get at some point here in the future. She's in the current story that just came out with the Night Crimson expansion, and so I thought we'd just go right into her kit. Now I'm kind of changing up how I will be going over the units here from on out, because one of the things is a lot of the passages took quite a bit of editing, and now that I'm kind of covering like 4 to 5 games now, it takes quite a bit of time on just editing in all of the clips on all the actions. So I'll probably show a couple of them here. I did find a good video on it, and I really won't cut them in. I'll just kind of go back and forth between the video. The main one I want to show is the ultimate. And then I will put in the description a link to this video for this creator who actually shows every skill and what it looks like on screen. And so I won't show it. I'll just go, you can go ahead and go to my description, go to their video if you want to actually see how the skills work in action. And we'll just kind of go over each of these skills and how I can kind of think it will apply to the teams with what we currently have and what we will have coming up possibly in the future. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing is going to be the trait, or her personality trait with her. So now there is a translation error on this one. Mobile team mark is the hangman's mark. Just like her normal version, she does a lot of stuff alongside the hangman team. So whenever you see something that says mobile team mark, it's just the hangman's mark. And so if she has 1 star, it's all allies within 5 squares of herself will attack with the hangman's mark target. The attack is increased by 5%. So if they attack someone with the hangman's mark, they're going to do an increased 5% damage. After releasing support skills to friendly forces, which Alternate Saffiyah has quite a few of, or passively triggering healing effects, which she also has, she'll apply 1 level 1 random attribute buff to the teammates, and that'll last for 2 rounds. At the start of action, apply Hangman's Mark to all enemies within 6 squares of self, which lasts for 2 rounds. So, big AoE application of the Hangman's Mark to all the enemies around her. So that's really nice right there. And then as you gain her stars, so I think in the first one, it just increases it 10% for the attack. I believe that's the only thing on the second star. The third one... This is where, the third one's when you start really getting into some of her extra stuff. So now increases by that 10%. Support attack, alert, and penetration damage now increased by 15%. So it adds a whole nother little chunk to that. And then after that, the 4th star, I believe, it goes up to 15% here. Now it's turned into a level 2 attribute gain when she uses her passives and heals on teammates. And then on the 5th star, it takes it up to, I believe, from 15 to 25% on the support attack, alerts, penetration damage, and it increases the 15% still. And that is pretty much it on her kit. I feel like she does, like 3 stars is pretty fine on her, because you're just really getting additional damage types as you go above that. But the 3 stars is where you get that additional part of the support attacks, alerts, and penetration damage. So she's one that you can put in there and get her out fairly quickly if you get the 3 stars. Eventually you'll want the 5 stars to get that extra damage, because she has all that stuff in her kit. And so let's go ahead now and take a look at her kit. Now she has a lot of damage capability. She has a lot of things that are similar to her normal self, but now she's more of a support role in how she functions. So the first thing we have is her default skill here, Assault Order. So this one is a support skill, 2 turn or 2 energy cost to use, grants the target friendly troop within the area Assault Order. And Assault Order is basically like the where they attack, and we can actually go in there. It's where they'll attack after another enemy attacks. So if you read it, actively attacks a single target, it will perform another support attack. So if someone attacks, then the ally that has this buff will then attack. And you can put this on any of your allies, and it'll do 100% damage, and it can be activated once per round. So really nice, because you can put that on a hard hitter that can now support attack alongside another hard hitter, and you can do a lot of damage to an enemy with that one. So it's actually a pretty good starting skill to have on her. And then we have her reaction here of Shadow Blade Pursuit. Reaction, perform a support attack on enemies with the Hangman mark within 3 tiles of herself, causing 50% damage. And then heal the teammate with the lowest health percentage within range. The healing amount is 30% of the caster's physical attack plus magic attack. It can take effect once per round. So that's a nice starting one right there with her to be able to heal. And she has other kits in her stuff in her kit to heal as well. And that's one nice thing about her is she's not like a dedicated healer. She has a lot of capabilities to keep your teammates alive, and she has heals built into it. And we'll kind of see that here with the rest of her skills. So on the first level here, we have Front Deployment. So this one has a 3-turn cooldown. It's an instant and causes a target friendly troop to walk to any open space within 5 squares of its range. Will be affected by the special terrain effects. So this is similar to Inanna's, where it'll allow them to have another turn, but they don't. It's not effectively another turn. It's just another movement. They can move 5 tiles from wherever they currently are after you activate this instant on them. So it's a good way to get someone out of the that maybe you have someone go into a position that's going to be like a suicidal attack. Like you have someone that can do a massive AoE and hit a lot of enemies, but we don't want them to be attacked back. You can go out there, do this AoE, do a lot of damage to all the enemies, and then just knowing full well, even though they're out there and stuck and they can't move, you can have Alternate Saffiyah come in and grab them and pull them back 5 tiles. So that'll be extremely useful for being able to put your high damage but low defense units out there to do some big hits. That'll work really good on Alternate Rawiyah, because Alternate Rawiyah is the one that you can put out there. She can do massive AoE, but then she's kind of out there, and then Alternate Saffiyah can actually just pull her back from that. The level 1 on the left here, Solomon. This one is an Ura that reduces the attack of all enemies within 2 squares by self by 10%. I mean, this is not if you're going to pick one, I would not use a Castalia here. Just take front deployment. It's just so much better. Just reducing their attack by 10%. Yeah, that can be nice, but nothing too crazy. And then on the third level, we have on the left, Sniper Cover. So this one is the alert. Yeah, this is her alert skill. And so she gains 1 dodge for 1 round. So now she can dodge enemies' attacks when they hit her, if it's single target there. And then she has an alert within a 3x5 area in front of her, which you can see down on the image. And on that, and then it causes magic damage equal to 150% of physical attack value in interrupting the enemy's actions after attacking, and then it applies a C weakness. And then if you go to C weakness here, it's translated here to spotting weakness. So C3 weaknesses, it's a debuff that they'll get when attacked by a character. With that restrained function, the opponent attack will be increased. So it'll just increase 20% attack to whoever's attacking them after it. So it's kind of like the vulnerability. Very similar to the normal Raiwa when you use hers, where she goes into the dodge state and they attack, and then she attacks back in a large range, except this one's an alert. So they don't have to actively attack her. They just come into that range, and then she's going to hit them. So that one's a really good one to get. And both of these on the third are good. So if you're going to use a Castalia, the third is where you're going to want to use it. This one on the right is where you're going to be able to help keep your teammates alive. This one's a passive. At the end of her turn, heal the 2 allies with the lowest HP on the field. And that's the key. It says on the field. You don't have to be close to them or anything. It's just going to heal your 2 lowest HP allies 40%. And then when executing standby, so if she doesn't do any actions that turn and she just does a standby, it will also trigger once more, doing 20% physical attack value plus magic value heal to them as well. So you can do a massive heal with her if you just do no actions with that 40% and then the 20%. And then we'll go up to the reactions here. And so on level 5, we have reactions, avoid vital points. So when attacked actively, damage received is reduced by 8%. Critical hit rate is reduced by 30%. So just a reduced damage altogether ability there. Nothing too crazy. Battlefield treatment over here on the right. Reaction, when actively attacked, the damage received is reduced by 8%. It's kind of same as the other. After being actively attacked, the teammate with the lowest health percentage within 2 squares of range is healed, and the healing amount is 100%. So this is another big being able to heal your teammates. Of the 2, I'd probably take this one, because if you really need that extra heals for a hard-hitting fight, she's going to be a good one to bring in there. It's kind of similar to Terror. Terror can do a lot of healing alongside his support. So you can almost pair Alternate Saffiyah and Terror together, and they can basically be your healers for your team while also providing a ton of support. So I definitely would be taking that one on the reaction skills. And then when it comes to the level 7s here, we have Crimson Memory. This is the leadership aura for the Knight Crimson team. And for all players who is on the Knight Crimson team, or Crimson Knight as it's translated here, their attack is increased by 10% and defense by 20%. So this doesn't have like the extra bonus. This is just your standard one that you have with all the others, just the 10 and 20%. I believe there's another unit that actually has more than this. And so that actually would make this one not the good one to have on your, if you're going to do a full Crimson Knight team. And then we have the one on the right. This one is another support that grants assistance and assistance defense to all allies with 3 grids of the player's range for 3 rounds. When the target is in the, basically in the Scarlet Knight camp, assistance and assistance defense will add 1 to the calculation of number of friendly forces. And so when you actually go into the skill and look at it, this is just basically a giant buff here. So for every friendly unit within 2 squares of the player's range, their attack will be increased by 5%. So the more you have, that assist is can go up to 15%. So if they're close together, 15% attack increase. Then you have help defense. For every friendly unit within 2 squares, its defense increases by 10% up to 40%. So if you have 4, that's a massive 40% defense increase there. So just another little buff to keep teammates alive there. Then we go to the 9th order, new upgraded basic attacks. We have Joint Strike, single target attack causing 80% of physical damage, and applies Hangman's Mark, which lasts for 2 rounds and causes the nearest friendly unit within 3 squares of the target to use a normal attack and perform a support attack, which is 50% damage. So this is a way to get some extra damage from a teammate as well with that support attack. So if you have her around a big hard hitter, that can do quite a bit of damage, and it will have the Hangman's Mark put on them before they do it. And then we have the other one over here, causes 100% physical damage and restores an additional 1 energy point. I would take the one on the left just because getting that extra dam in the support action is going to be significantly more valuable, because you're going to have her near teammates. And since she's going to be near teammates, because all her buffs apply to them in that way, that one's going to be actually triggered quite often. And then when we get to the 11th level rank skills, one on the right here is a heal, recover 30% of the HP of all allies on the field. So it's a massive heal. Now this has a 2 energy and 5 turn cooldown. So this is a massive heal, but you can only use it like a couple times because of the long cooldown. But it gives them attack 1 and magic defense 2 for 2 turns. So just a big AoE heal to everybody. But if you want to go to get her ultimate, the one on the left, and this is the one I would say to choose of those 2 top ones here, Mobile Team Ace Tactics. So this one applies, see the weakness, so that's the same things we had before, where it's going to make it where you can do some more damage to the enemies, to the target for 2 rounds, and causes 4 closest friendly forces within 3 squares of the target to use a support attack, which causes 50% of their damage. So this is one where you're going to do all those enemies that are close to them. So if you have all of them right around them, they're all going to attack them at the same time. And this is it's basically like doing a 200% attack, but it's not Saffiyah's attack that's doing it. It's the teammates. So if you have some hard hitters in there, it's going to hit pretty stinking hard. And so this is the one I would take of the 2. And so that's the one I was going to take a look at so you can kind of see it in action, because it's the most confusing of them. And so if we go here on this video here, we can kind of see how it works. You have the large range of all the allies that's going to take into consideration. So in this case, they have Alternate Saffiyah, they have Panama, they have Alternate Rhea, Tristan, and Lila. And so you have your 4 teammates right here. So it has 4. It's going to select one of them, and then all of them are going to attack. And it has a pretty cool animation with it. So selects the enemy, has the animation, shows all the people, and then all 4 of those allies will now attack that enemy. You can see if they're hard hitters, you are going to do a lot of damage because it's not Alternate Saffiyah's being taken into consideration there. And so that is her entire kit. She has a lot going for her. Now, a big thing is she is completely it's a lot of support based stuff. It's all about making it where her teammates can do the more damage. I mean, even if you take into consideration her alert, she's going to do some damage to them, but she's applying that capability for your teammates to come in and do the finishing touches on them. She has some healing, some buffs to give them some defense here. Her ultimate, where she can get her teammates all doing a lot of damage there. I mean, even her basic attack gives your teammates the capability to do a support attack. And so that is a lot of what her kit is getting your teammates to be stronger and doing attacks while she kind of sits around them. Now that's a big thing. She's one of those supports that you want to be close up with them because a lot of the stuff you want to be kind of close knit and tight together. And she is going to work best with your Crimson Knights because they're all kind of built around those capabilities. I mean, you have support defense already built into some of the other ones as well. But that pretty much is Alternate Saffiyah. Now, when it comes into the priorities of polling, like I said, Terror is pretty much the last, to me, must-have of all of the units coming out. So while Alternate Saffiyah feels really good, she is definitely not a must-have in my opinion. Now, of all the units around her, she's definitely probably my favorite of the group because she can pair extremely well, especially if you're going to need those extra heals, because she's going to be able to give the extra healing while supporting your team, and then you can use her alongside pretty much anyone. So she'll work really well with like Alternate Saffiyah because I mean they're kind of built around how they were good friends, and so the kits kind of go well together. But you can use it around anyone. I mean, I really like the ability of like front deployment because a lot of times you want to throw that unit out there that can do some big damage to a lot of enemies, and you're not going to be able to get them out of there, and you're pretty much putting them to their death, even though you do big damage. This is going to be that way to get them out of harm's way after they do the big damage. So that one to me is huge. The alerts, just like her normal self, basically being able to put some vulnerability on them. So an overall good kit. After I get Terror, hopefully Terror comes first. I'm really hoping Terror comes first, because if she comes before Terror, it's going to be a tough decision because I do want to pull and I do want to get her. But I want to make sure I can guarantee Terror. Terror is super important to me in this, and I am not really spending money on the game at this point because I'm kind of content of everything that I have. I have full built teams. I'm just kind of looking to improve on them with more supports or maybe another big damage dealer. So we'll kind of have to see how that goes. But overall, a great character. I think most people should pull for her, especially if you have pulls left over once Terror is done. We'll just kind of have to see on that order. But yeah, if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.